right, yesterday there in England, we saw the return of the English Premier League across different centres yesterday. But the result of the games definitely was not the best in which some of the top sides who were in action yesterday would have expected. We'll discuss about the results of those games where at the Stamford Bridge, Chelsea Football Club, they've now gone 5 games without a victory in their last 5 games, losing to the hands of Bournemouth. And Liverpool Football Club, who definitely are top of the standings, they've gone 2 games now without a victory, first against Manchester United, and now yesterday at the City Ground they played out a 1-1 draw against Nottingham Forest. For West Ham, it was that perfect start for Graham Potter in the English Premier League. Remember that this is the second game in charge of the London side, talking about West Ham Football Club. His first game was against Aston Villa in that's the FA Cup third round, and this is the second game in charge against that's Fulham Football Club, where his side raised to that's a 2-goal lead, but at the end of 90 minutes the game ended 3-2. And for Manchester City, they blew away that's a 2-goal lead yesterday at the GTEC Stadium. 2-2 it ended between Brentford and Manchester City. Well, games are set to continue later today, and the biggest of them happens to be the game at the Emirates Stadium, where Arsenal Football Club would be welcoming Tottenham Football Club. It is the North London derby. And just ahead of the North London derby, the news are coming from the Emirates Stadium is that Gabriel Jesus is set to miss the remainder of the season after suffering yet another ACL injury in that game against Manchester United. Away from football stories, also we discuss about the Australian Open. Well, of course, St. Wen, the Olympic champion, she is out of the Australian Open. Well, definitely, I was discussing about how far I want her to go in this year's edition of the Australian Open, but just as fate would have it, St. Wen is out of it. Arina Sabalenka, she made it into the next round also. And then we talk about some main male games that also went down. Novak Djokovic also, he went through into the next round yesterday. We talk about João Fonseca also making it into the next round. We discuss about tennis stories, and we talk about football. Yesterday, myself and Peter, we were here discussing about the CHAN tournament. And of course, I can tell you that the CHAN tournament has gotten a new month for our kickoff. But definitely, we'll discuss about all of this on today's edition of the program, Scoreboard in 15, right here on 32 FM 94.9. And you're listening to the voice of Oluwatimile in SAMIES on the program this lovely Wednesday morning. Well, without wasting much of our time, we join our partners, the BBC Premier League update, to take listen to the reaction of the games that went down yesterday. That's across those centres yesterday. There was only one win yesterday in all of the games that went down there in England, and that victory came. That was only the victory for that's West Ham Football Club, getting that victory yesterday over Fulham Football Club. The BBC Premier League update.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Andy Bowl at the BBC Sports Centre. The Premier League leaders Liverpool were held 1-1 in their latest game, away to the now second place side Nottingham Forest at the City Ground. Forest had taken the lead on 8 minutes through Chris Wood. Liverpool's leveller came from Diogo Jota on 66 minutes. Well, the Forest keeper Matt Sells believes his team did well against the title race pace-setters.
Yeah, it was amazing. With all the supporters behind us, of course, before the game, everybody speaks, voilà, if you win, if you lose, voilà. And I think, voilà, 1 point is a good result in the end for us.
Well, fourth place Chelsea needed an equaliser from a fit again Reece James in the 5th minute of added time to draw 2-2 at home to Bournemouth. Manchester City were 2-0 up with Phil Foden scoring both goals, but Brentford hit back late on to draw 2-2. Christian Norgard rescued a point with his added time equaliser for the side managed by Thomas Frank.
Yeah, that is actually, wow, what a game. Fantastic football game throughout 90 minutes. In some spells, end to end. What a performance from us. Extremely happy with that. The mentality to come back and keep believing is through the roof.
West Ham United managed to hang on to beat Fulham 3-2 as Graham Potter recorded a first Premier League victory in charge of the Hammers. Arsenal have confirmed that their Brazilian attacker Gabriel Jesus has suffered a cruciate ligament injury and will undergo surgery. And Aston Villa has signed the Dutch international forward Daniel Malen from the German club Borussia Dortmund for around $24 million. For the latest football news on the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
All right, there you heard the BBC Premier League update from reaction of the games that went down yesterday. Brentford 2, Manchester City 2, Chelsea Football Club 2, Bournemouth 2, West Ham 3, Fulham 2, Nottingham Forest 1, Liverpool Football Club 1. Well, away from England, we have games that also go down yesterday where Borussia Dortmund lost to the hands of Austin Kell by 4 goals to 2. Bayer Leverkusen, they've closed on the gap with a table toppers that's talking about Bayern Munich in the top of the German Bundesliga standing. But I can tell you that presently, we take a look at the standing. We have Bayern Munich with 39 points with 16 games played, and Bayer Leverkusen followed closely with 38 points from 17 games played. They're in the German Bundesliga. They won by a goal to nil yesterday. That Alejandro Grimaldo was the man responsible for that goal. Eintracht Frankfurt also defeated Freiburg by 4 goals to 1. Omar Mamouche, the Egyptian, was on target once again, and Wolfsburg, they defeated Borussia Mönchengladbach by 5 goals to 1. And in Italy, AC Milan, for Fonesca, it got its first win for AC Milan in the league, defeating Fabregas Como by 2 goals to 1. And Atlanta Football Club, well, Retegui went back to the top of the goal-scoring chart, which is a late goal yesterday against Juventus, the old ladies, who happens to be the only team yet to taste the defeat in Europe top 5 leagues. I'm talking about the domestic league at this point in time. Juventus, in all of the games that they've played this season, they are yet to taste a defeat from that's 20 games that they've played. They have not lost any. They've drawn 13. They've won 7 games, and you could tell that how much of a season is Juventus having within the Italian football. Well, actions are set to continue later today across centres from England to Spain to Germany. We have Everton up against Aston Villa later today for David Moyes. This will be his first game in charge. That's in the second stint as that's the Toffees boss. Leicester City also at the King Park Stadium will be welcoming Crystal Palace. Newcastle at the St. James's Park will be welcoming Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium will be welcoming Tottenham Football Club in Germany. Bochum will be up against Pauli, Bayern Munich against Hoffenheim, Stuttgart against RB Leipzig, Union Berlin up against Augsburg, then Werder Bremen will be up against Edenham. And in the Italian Serie A, Inter Milan will be up against Bologna. And well, we'll move away from that and talk about some tennis stories right about now. Well, actions went down in the early hours of today. I'm talking about tennis stories. That's the Australian Open, the first major Grand Slam of the year. Well, there has been games, and of course, I can tell you that Novak Djokovic, like I said, well, he won in 3 sets to 1. That's in his game. We also have Bugs also getting into the next round. Bonzi, Carlos Alcaraz getting into the next round. Jiri Lekeka, well, went into the next round after Gadsden retired in his game, and Thomas Bach also got into the next round with a 3 set to 2 victory. Well, in the female category, like I said, the biggest upset yes happens to be that Qinwen Zheng is out of the tournament. Aina Sabalenka made it into the next round. Jessica Pegula. We also have Thausin. Who else? We have Naomi Osaka making it into the next round. The Canadian woman, that's Leila Fernandez, also made it into the next round. Talking about the Australian Open. Well, actions are set to continue later today. Kostya Matuk will be in action. Vekic also will be in action. Corey Kokogov would be in action. Paula Badosa would also be in action later today. Alexander Zverev in the men's category. Kasper Ruud, Jacques Draper. We also have Tommy Paul, Felix Auger-Aliassime. All of them would be in action later today. Well, we'll talk about the Australian Open. Well, moving away from that, some NBA stories. Games went down in the early hours of today, and from those results, we had that the Milwaukee Bucks defeating the Sacramento Kings 130-115. The Atlanta Hawks got the better of the Phoenix Suns 122-117. The New York Bulls, well, they lost to the hands of the New Orleans Pelicans 119-113. The Dallas Mavericks also lost to the hands of the Denver Nuggets 118-299. The Indiana Pacers, they lost to the hands of the Cleveland Cavaliers 127-117, and the Oklahoma City Thunders defeated the Philadelphia 76ers 118-102. Well, Lastly, discussing about football stories from the home scene. This is about the CHAN tournament where 𝐿, the new Super Eagles head coach of Nigeria, he touched down in Kenya yesterday alongside that's Austin Eguavoen, as well as who we can talk about 𝐾𝐈𝐒. Well, for this action, there has been an update concerning the CHAN tournament and the 2024 African Nations Championship CHAN. It has been postponed until August, just 18 days before the tournament was due to kick off. That's in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. Well, more time is required to ensure the infrastructure and facilities for the finals are at the levels necessary. Well, we talk about some of the reasons why this tournament has been shifted to a new date. This is because of the lack of infrastructure. We talk about lack of infrastructure, lack of facilities, lack of stadiums, and inability to get the full set of teams. 17 available for now and 19 teams, and CAF has decided to let all the league finish in Africa, and also to give an adequate preparation for nations like Algeria, Egypt, and South Africa to prepare for the knockout games mini tournament and determine who will qualify as reviewed. Well, one of them is not ready, talking about the host nation Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. But let's hope they will be ready by the month of August. Well, thank you so much to you all for joining me on today's edition of the program. It will come later in the afternoon. We just take a preview of the games set to go down later. The games that went down yesterday, and also a review of the games that are set to go down later today. The North London in particular. I am SAMIES, your sports captain. Do enjoy the rest of the day, and bye for now.